this passage really shows us the greatness of God in our weakness. So I want to start with point number 1. God makes us weak. It's not just that we are weak. It's not just, that we're weak, but God accentuates our weakness. God makes us even weaker than we already are. We already can't do anything, right? We have no power. God has all power to control. He has providence. He can control weather. He can control the earth. He can control times and seasons and everything. We don't have that power. We can't. There's so much in our life that we have no control over right from the get-go. But beyond that, point number 1 is that God makes us weak. He makes us even more weak than we already are. Look at what happened in this story. God himself limited the army number from 32,000 down to 300. God selected, he got rid of all the very little bit of strength that Israel had. Israel probably, with the 32,000, wasn't going to defeat the army anyway. Because remember, we read in that passage that the number of soldiers, the number of Midianites outnumbered the grains of sand on the seashore. And their numbers were like locusts, right? Just completely, as many as the eye could see. And 32,000 is all that Gideon had. But God chops that down. He makes us even weaker than we already are. We already have no control. God makes us have even less control over the situation. So look at your life. Look at the things. You have weaknesses. I have weaknesses. And take a look at yourself. Look at this point number 1. Realize the things in your life that God has actually given you weakness. And we're going to see why he gave it to you. But just realize that when you have weakness, deficiency, that is God-given. You don't have to curse God for your weaknesses. God's the one that gave them to you. God's the one that has limited your ability.